All right, buckle up, everybody, because today we are going deep, deep into the world of magic.
And misdirection.
Yeah, misdirection, absolutely. We're going to be unpacking a lecture, actually,
Oh, cool.
by the master magician himself, Gregory Wilson.
Oh, wow.
So we've got excerpts from one of his live presentations.
I like that. It's like like we've got backstage passes or something.
Exactly,
Yep.
exactly. You know, a peek behind the curtain to see how he creates these mind-blowing illusions.
Because it's not like a research paper.
No.
It's way more interesting than that. It's
Yeah.
like we're eavesdropping on this masterclass in deception.
I love that.
He's not just performing these tricks, he's actually like explaining the psychology behind them.
Yes, and that's what makes this deep dive so interesting, right?
Right.
We're going beyond just the how of magic.
Right.
We're exploring the why.
Exactly.
And specifically, I think one of the big things that we're going to be looking at is how Gregory Wilson uses the power of assumption
To like fool us.
to fool us, yes.
Yeah.
And the really cool part, we're going to see how those same principles of assumption work in everyday life too.
Oh, that's what makes it so relevant.
Yes.
Like this is about you.
Exactly.
We all make assumptions
All the time.
every single day, often without even realizing it. And that's where we can get tripped up, whether it's by a magician or, a marketer,
Oh, yeah.
or even just our own biases.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hmm.
So let's jump right into it. One of Wilson's opening tricks, it's this golf ball illusion.
Oh, cool.
And he starts with this very simple question. How many golf balls are in my hand?
Okay.
Shows us one, then another. Seems pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
It's the classic setup.
Yeah.
He's playing on that natural tendency we all have to just jump to conclusions.
Yeah. Like, oh, it's obvious.
We see two balls, our brains automatically think that's it.
Right. Exactly.
But then he kind of adds another layer to it.
Oh.
He has the audience feel the weight of the balls in his hand.
Okay.
So it's heavier than we'd expect,
Uh-huh.
which reinforces this idea that there must be more.
So he's already like starting the misdirection.
Yes.
Misdirection. That's like a key thing, right?
Oh, it's huge.
In magic, it's about diverting our attention from the real method
Yes.
while he's simultaneously reinforcing that false assumption.
Exactly. Exactly. So now we're thinking, okay, there's got to be a few more golf balls in there because it's heavier than two golf balls.
Right.
And then the reveal. There are actually 8 golf balls.
Whoa.
It's this total wait, what moment
Yeah.
where you realize your brain just filled in those gaps based on such limited information.
So he's exploiting our assumptions
Completely.
about what we're seeing and what
Yeah.
we're feeling, right?
Yes. It's such a simple concept, but so powerful.
Mm.
And he actually says this in the lecture. The more you assume, the easier it is to fool you.
That's so true, though.
Right. And this doesn't just apply to magic tricks.
No, it applies to, like, everything.
Think about advertising.
Yeah.
How advertising uses our assumptions.
About beauty, about success.
Yes. To sell us products.
Right. We just assume a certain brand's going to make us look or feel a certain way, even if there's no evidence to support it.
Or the news.
Ooh, the news, yeah.
We assume that what we read or hear is the whole story.
Right.
But there could be these hidden agendas or biases that are shaping that information that we're getting.
Absolutely.
So we're already seeing how deeply embedded assumptions are just from this one golf ball trick.
Yeah, it makes you really question everything.
It makes me question everything. But let's move on to another illusion
Okay.
that highlights this concept even further. Remember the vanishing pen trick?
Oh, yeah, the classic. That's a great example.
Yes.
Of how a simple object, like a pen, can be used to create this powerful illusion, right?
Yes.
He clips the pen to the spectator's shirt collar and poof, it's gone.
Vanished. And the audience is always left wondering, where'd it go?
Yeah, like how'd you do that?
But here's the thing. It's not just sleight of hand.
It's not.
There's actually a tiny, almost invisible gimmick involved.
Oh, so there's a secret.
Well, there's a little something helping him out. And he even kind of jokes about it.
Oh, does he?
He says in the lecture, really? Does this count as a gimmick?
He's got a sense of humor about it.
Oh, yeah. It's that self-deprecating humor that makes him so relatable.
Yeah. It's like he's not trying to pretend that he's gained some, supernatural powers.
Oh.
He's acknowledging that there's a trick. But even knowing that, we still can't figure it out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the genius of it.
Yeah.
But the audience, their reactions are priceless.
Yeah.
There's this mix of astonishment and laughter as they try to figure out, how do you do that?
Yeah.
It's like we're all in on the joke, even though we're the ones being fooled.
Right, exactly. And that brings us back to that whole concept of assumption again.
Yes.
We just assume a pen can't vanish into thin air.
Right.
So our brains struggle to make sense of it, but
Yeah.
what's really happening is Wilson is using that misdirection
Yeah.
to exploit our assumptions. He's
Oh.
guiding our attention away from what he's really doing.
It's like our brains were working overtime to fill in the blanks, create this story that makes sense, even if it's not the real story.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's talk about another one.
Okay.
This is the stir-stick break illusion.
Stir, stick, break. Okay.
This one is wild. This one plays with our sense of sound.
Ooh.
So he takes this regular stir stick, snaps it in half, and we hear that, that crisp cracking sound.
Okay, yeah.
No surprise there. But then he does it again without actually breaking the stick. And we still hear the snap.
What? How?
It's so bizarre. The audience is totally baffled. Some people start talking about, like, Zoom's noise cancellation,
Oh.
thinking that Zoom's playing tricks on them.
Oh, so maybe it's like editing.
But it's not Zoom. It's all about the power of suggestion.
Oh, wow.
He has conditioned us to associate the visual of the stick breaking with the sound of the snap.
Oh, okay.
So even when we don't see the break, our brains fill in that missing sound.
Wow, based on our prior experience.
It's exactly it,
That's really interesting.
isn't it?
Yeah.
And he actually says, he goes, Zoom thinks it's background noise that you don't want.
Oh, he's funny.
So funny. Keeps the audience engaged, even though he's, messing with our mind.
Totally. But think about how often we, fall for similar tricks in everyday life.
Oh, all the time.
Right. Have you ever, noticed how movie soundtracks can, totally manipulate your emotions?
Yeah.
Like, a suspenseful scene is 10 times scarier with the right music or, the right sound effects.
Yeah.
They're playing on our ingrained associations,
Totally.
using sound to create a desired effect.
I never even thought about it that way. It's like we're constantly bombarded with these, subtle cues
Yeah.
that are just influencing our perceptions without us even realizing it.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's move on to a trick that takes this concept of assumption to a whole new level. It's called the chip on your shoulder.
The chip on your shoulder. Okay.
And for this one, I think we really need to unpack it step by step.
Yeah.
Because it is a masterclass in layered misdirection.
It really shows how Wilson combines psychology and sleight of hand and even a bit of, showmanship
Oh, yeah.
to create a truly memorable illusion. So are you ready to delve into this one?
Absolutely. Hit me with the details.
So first of all, there's this custom-made purse
Okay.
designed to hold the chip, but it's got this, secret compartment for a switch.
Oh, sneaky.
Yeah, and then there's the chip itself.
Okay.
It's treated with something he calls Dexter's putty.
Dexter's putty.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't get all the details on that,
No.
but it sounds like some kind of adhesive that allows him to, subtly stick the chip anywhere.
Oh, so it's like it's got a little extra grip.
Yeah, exactly. So that's interesting.
Dexter's putty.
Hmm.
Interesting. So we got the purse, the special chip. What else?
All right, so this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Before the trick even starts,
Okay.
he casually touches the spectator's shoulder. It's like such a subtle move, you could easily miss it,
Right.
but that touch is crucial.
Oh, I see. I see. I bet he's planting a seed, making it seem normal.
Exactly.
So later, when the chip appears there, it's not suspicious.
It doesn't raise any red flags.
Right.
Exactly. And he even talks about this. He's like, this is public space, private space, intimate space.
Right.
If I touch you over here and I come back over here, copacetic.
Yeah, he's getting permission.
Yeah.
In a way.
It's like he's conditioning the spectator
Right.
to accept that touch.
And then by the time the chip actually shows up on their shoulder,
They barely even react.
yeah, it's like they were expecting it.
Yeah, exactly. Because they've been led down this path of assumptions, step by step.
Yeah.
And the final reveal is almost an afterthought.
Wow.
Of course, he adds in his trademark humor. He's always playing off the audience.
Oh, yeah.
He jokes with one guy, he's done this lecture with me so many times, you either got dementia, Joe, or...
Oh, Wilson?
It's that mix of skill and humor that makes him so great. But, this conditioning thing, it's not just magic.
No, it's everywhere.
It really is. Think about a salesperson
Okay, yeah.
who, compliments your outfit
Oh, yeah.
before they try to sell you something.
Oh, yeah. To butter you up.
Totally. They're subtly conditioning you
Yeah.
to be more open to their pitch.
To be more receptive, yeah.
Yeah.
Or how about politicians
Oh, yeah. Good example.
who just repeat the same phrase,
A slogan.
a slogan. over and over and over again.
Yeah.
They're trying to just implant that idea in your mind,
Hoping it'll become automatic.
an automatic association.
Yeah.
It's crazy when you start to see these patterns everywhere.
It really is, and that's the cool thing about this deep dive. It's not just about magic tricks. It's about understanding how our minds work,
Exactly.
how we can be influenced,
Yeah.
and how to become more aware of these subtle tactics.
Okay, so we've explored how Wilson uses assumption, like in those individual tricks.
Yeah. We've covered a lot here. Golf balls, vanishing pens, Dexter's putty.
We've really seen how Gregory Wilson uses assumption to create these amazing illusions.
And more importantly, how those same principles of assumption shape our perceptions in everyday life.
So what are some of the key takeaways? What do you think our listeners should walk away with from all of this?
I think for me, it's just how common assumptions are.
Yeah.
We make them about everything,
Constantly.
and we rarely even stop to think if they're true.
We don't. And that's the scary part.
Yeah. When we're just on autopilot,
Yeah.
accepting all those assumptions we've always had.
Makes us vulnerable
Yeah, to being tricked.
by magicians
Magicians, marketers.
or even just ourselves, our own biases.
Absolutely. It's like that old saying, seeing is believing, right?
Yeah, but I'm not so sure anymore.
Me neither.
Gregory Wilson has shown us, how easy it is to trick our senses.
Totally.
What we see, what we hear, it might not be the whole story.
That's the beauty of magic, though.
Yeah.
It makes you confront the limits of your own perception. Right.
Makes you question what you think you know,
Yeah,
which is a powerful thing.
absolutely. So it's not just about being entertained.
No.
It's about becoming aware of those mental shortcuts we're always taking.
Right.
The assumptions we make without even realizing it.
And that awareness, that's key.
It is.
Once you start seeing those patterns, those cues that affect your thinking,
Yeah.
you're less likely to be fooled.
You see the world differently.
Absolutely. You become more skeptical,
Yeah.
which is good.
Like Wilson says, the more you assume, the easier it is to be fooled.
It's so true.
So maybe the real magic trick is learning to question our assumptions. Look beyond the surface.
Be curious.
Yes.
Challenge what you think you know. And that's helpful,
In everything.
not just for magic shows.
It can help us make better decisions, understand complicated things better, even, have better relationships.
Because how can you really get to know someone
Right.
if you're always making assumptions about them? It all comes back to, thinking critically,
Yeah.
being in the moment,
Yeah.
and having a little fun.
Right. Exactly.
Remember that bit about the holy smoke trick?
Oh, yeah. Where he uses it to get out of speeding tickets.
He has it on film.
He does?
Gobs were like, that was amazing. Beat it, scram, hit the road.
Oh, that's great.
It's hilarious. It's mind-blowing.
It is.
So assumptions can be powerful even in those unexpected situations.
You never know.
I think next time I see a magic show, I'll be watching differently.
How so?
Not just trying to figure out the trick, but really thinking about psychology. What assumptions are at play here?
Oh, that's a good point.
And maybe even try and apply those principles to, my own life.
Do your own life.
Use misdirection, suggestion to get what I want.
Influence people. Who knows? Maybe you've got a hidden talent for magic.
Maybe. I don't know about that. But I definitely feel like I've gotten something valuable out of this deep dive.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks to Gregory Wilson. We went beyond the illusions.
Yeah.
And uncovered some pretty fundamental truths about, how we see the world.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure exploring this, the art of assumption
Yeah.
with you. And to our listener, remember, question everything.
Stay curious.
And always be looking for those little cues that shape your reality.
Who knows? Maybe you'll start to see the world with a little more wonder
Yeah.
and a lot less certainty.
That's a good thing.
Because as Gregory Wilson has shown us, the most amazing things often happen when we least expect them.